Stream.TV Fan Show Network. I'm your host, Sinead de Vries. I'm hanging out here in Hollywood with my pretty little talkers, and we have a really special guest, and we're super excited about it. Yes. Let me introduce my pretty little talkers first. I got Mova, Megan, and Steph. Hi, guys. And joining us today is also Nick Gonzalez, a.k.a. Detective Marco.
Yes.
We're super excited.
Good to be here, guys.
He carries a gun, guys.
Yeah, he's not a gun. Even when he's off duty, right, Steph? Right?
We'll go over
Yeah.
She still doesn't believe it.
in place.
Yes, Marco's like the newest love interest in Rosewood. So it's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
I think you're going to create a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
You already have created a lot of
Boldly
drama.
going where several men have gone before.
That's true. That's true. That's very true.
Who's the bigger sleuter on the show, Spencer or Emily? That's the other person.
You guys, raise your hand if you think that in the elevator. we do have to talk about that. We do. We have to get that sorted out.
Yeah,
Can we just talk about that right away?
Yeah, let's just talk about it. So a couple weeks ago, we got introduced to you.
Right.
I thought we were gonna have a fan innocently ask this question.
No, we're not. I'm going to ask it right now. A couple weeks ago, we were introduced to you when you met Spencer at the bar. She was really distraught, you know, she was in a really bad place, and she got really drunk, and you took her in an elevator, and you did some very questionable things.
They both were in the elevator together. It's not like he was like,
They were both drinking. No one took
they
anybody.
were both into it, but Nick's hands did some very questionable things.
Who's Nick?
Other things
Stephanie,
other than hands.
They were Detective Marco's hands.
Marco's hands. So Stephanie honestly thought that Detective Marco and Spencer somehow managed to do the deed in a matter of 5 seconds in the elevator, while the rest of us all argued that that was impossible.
The rest of it was off camera. First of all, you're dumb. Second of all, he was obviously behind her in the elevator, and I saw you. I saw Marco lift up her skirt, and then you were pressed against her in the elevator on the thing.
Just set the record straight.
Your hands were both up here.
Set the record straight. Was that a PG-13 scene, or was that an R-rated scene?
No, you're asking the question in a biased way.
Let him talk.
That's a biased
I feel like
rating.
you're just going to answer this for
Give us
yourselves.
a rating system.
I mean, you saw it, so I mean, the rating is definitely not G.
Okay. All right.
PG? Did anything happen?
Let's not rate it, okay? Everything's G-rated for television, so just say the honest answer.
Now, we are talking about in the TV world.
Yes, in the TV
What
world.
actually happened?
What
We
actually
didn't have to
happened?
see it on camera, but what exactly? What
As
should we
viewers,
assume?
what are we supposed to think happened in the elevator?
Was it a third base, or did you hit a home run? Was it like a or like?
Well, it depends. I mean, once you get to a certain age, you know, home base is very different than it was when you were younger. But
What? The bases.
But the point is, it wasn't as dirty as what we thought.
Stop trying to taint his answer.
speaking of taint,
I
Just give your
cannot.
honest answer.
you know, I kind of like it a little bit more where you're left to wonder.
You know what? I appreciate that.
In the script, when you read the script, it
I mean, she keeps coming back. So.
It probably said,
I
and then they
respect that a
proceeded to
lot.
make love, end parentheses.
All right,
and then
you
you
guys-
did your business. It's appropriate for television.
For now, it is a mystery, and it's all right.
I don't think that's good enough for her.
Yeah,
I'll let
it'll
you do
never be good enough for
You
her.
have just at least 10 seconds of an answer.
See, that's you know the answer now.
I didn't get to see.
She wanted to know.
I'll tell you what he said. He said they freaking did.
That never.
He did not say that, you guys.
And now we all know.
Yes, all right. So, I guess we'll have to badger you after. We'll see if we can find out any information, you guys. All right, let's get into this episode. Big things first, okay? So let's start with the big things first. Aria and Jason's past we're really, really focused on, and there was a lot of relationship things happening in this episode. Hanna is trying to get Noel Khan, who now we think is actually the second child. I think those are the three biggest things, right?
Oh, I just got goosebumps.
Right?
Yeah,
Yes.
Yes.
So let's start. Nick, let's ask you what you think about this. So,
By the way, I love listening to this because you guys know so much more about this show than I think I ever will.
Or do we?
I mean,
I know what's coming up.
but you know a lot of the things that we want to know.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
on-set stuff, all that juicy stuff.
Let's talk about Noel Khan being the second child. So for someone who is newer to the PLL world, I guess, when you're filming and stuff like that and you're on set, do they give you any sort of insight as to who your character is supposed to be afraid of? Or is it kind of just like, this is the script, you don't get any of the inside info?
You'd be really surprised, but honestly, that's pretty much the latter is actually what happens. There's never, I find myself always wondering, like, where am I at? What do I know? What do I don't know? And they'll gladly tell you, but at the same time, no one's giving you a manual about what everyone's been through, because I don't even know how you would put that together.
Right.
You know, so I'm always left kind of not knowing what exactly is going on.
Do you think that they do that on purpose? Do you think they don't want the cast to know, really? Because I remember when they
but I don't even know what came before is my point. You know, so it's hard to like even know that. I mean, they're not forthcoming with. I don't know where this is headed. To be honest with you, I mean, I'm a few episodes ahead. We just finished filming episode 15, 7/15.
That's crazy. Yeah. So there's only 5 more episodes left of this. Well, we don't know. We don't know. But
crazy.
Yeah. So he just came from set, and it's the one that Troian is filming.
She's directing. Yeah.
Or, yeah. Is that like how is that weird?
I gotta say it's really awesome. Troian is not only just because of Sparko, but she's.
I love it.
She's one of my favorites.
We're gonna have to talk about that.
I think we really, connect in so many ways. She's really intelligent, and it made a lot of sense for her to do this. I'm surprised it didn't happen earlier, but it's really great to watch her. She's in her element. She's an awesome director. I felt like I got incredible direction today, and a lot of questions I had where, I poured over some of the stuff preparing for this episode, and I still, had a lot of questions and didn't really know how I was going to proceed, and she just stepped up with so much insight that it was a really fun day.
That's so fun. I can't
I'm
wait.
guessing she was in those scenes with you.
Yeah,
right?
I was wondering.
Which is a trip, because not only was she directing, but also in the scenes.
So would she be in the scene and making out with you one second, the next second be like, if we could just tilt our heads a little to the right?
Yeah, she's like, I didn't believe that.
Take it again. That's so
And I also
fun.
got to work with Sasha today, too.
Oh, awesome.
She's another one of my favorites.
Oh,
All the theories have just started.
I know. I was like,
everyone online is like, Marco and Sasha, like, what does this mean?
I mean, guys, it could be flashbacks. It could be, we don't
Would that be like
we don't
Hannah?
know.
No, that could
Oh, Manna. I like it.
I heard a rumor about Sasha that out of everybody on set, she's really good with memorization, and she will glance at her lines the morning of, and then
It's pretty amazing.
It's true.
Yeah.
I'm the antithesis of that. I'm the complete opposite. I think I'm like the old guy on set, and I don't remember anything, and it's really hard for me to, I wasn't like that. When I first started in this business about 18 years ago, I mean, I could look at a script and then do it during rehearsal, and then I was fine. But now it's like I have to really pour over it, and it gets a little tough. But she's
fast.
She's like that. Not only is she fast, but especially, she's so young.
Yeah.
And yet just really intelligent and really has her finger on this character, and it's really great to watch her just go right into it. Yeah. And she has no problem.
I like
Very
it.
cool. So tonight's episode, we really thought that we were going to see something happen between Marco and Spencer. Like, I honestly thought there was a kiss coming, you guys.
When the lights went off, there were so many things happening.
How convenient.
I was like, okay, Marco and Spencer, Aria and Jason, like, what's going on? But yes, that was a mega tease.
Well, if you remember though, she did ask him to stay over.
Yeah.
She did.
She did.
So Stephanie, start, letting your brain work. What happened when the cameras were off?
I think we all know what happened. The cameras were off. But I do have a question about the gun, because you know how you were technically off duty.
So
I know
on
you're
this.
not
So
on it, because I think it's kind of hot, and I'm like, is this like real life? So on the show,
Well, one, it's not. It's not real life.
Is it a real gun?
No, her question is,
Good question,
actually.
Was it a loaded gun?
was a loaded
Is it
gun.
not a loaded gun?
the gun's always
Method
loaded.
acting.
Always loaded.
But your question is, do off-duty police officers carry their...
Yeah, like, is that a likely situation that you could come over to Spencer's house and be like, oh, I've got my gun handy in case I need to defend you?
Yeah.
Well, then it's really hot to be a detective, people.
You don't even have to be a detective, Steph. You can have a gun. And
We
you can
live in America.
Steph can have a gun.
Apparently,
Where do I think I want that to
have a
happen? But one can have a gun, Steph. But not if that one is you. Not me. It's entirely possible.
Sydney's like Googling tonight, like, how do I purchase a gun?
I know next time she's going to be on set here.
She's like, guys, hi, guys.
She's like, guys, I brought my gun. We're good.
We're so good, you guys.
That's hilarious.
Please focus
That's
on the
so
topic at
funny.
That would be a
hand.
nightmare.
We're so all over the place. Oh, that's hilarious.
Okay, so Marco and Spencer, they didn't give it to the audience yet so far, but moving forward, there's a lot going on between the two of them, and I also really appreciated that the first person that she called was Marco. Sure, she wanted to show him the footage on the computer, but she could have said that to anybody.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, like, they are used to dealing with cops and people in Rosewood. Like, she could have been like, Toby, like, I got this. Caleb, I got this. Like, let's go to the police. But she called Marco. She called Marco, the one person that she knows the least out of everybody. So I feel like that's foreshadowing that there is going to be something that goes down between the two of them.
Would you imagine, like, you know, I mean, I know Toby's a police officer, but I mean, has he ever really come in, like, you know, knocking down the door?
No.
Right,
No.
It's not like Caleb's like an MMA fighter or anything that has some secretly.
You owned it. And I did.
Great hair. But in the situation at hand, no, it made a lot of sense. But you got to remember, though, she's not sharing a lot with Marco.
Right.
You know, so Marco's
did
still
kill
left
somebody.
in the dark.
Well, he's trying
So
to
it's
find
not
the
like
person.
she's ready to just show him the flash drive.
That's
either.
right, but he's trying to investigate the death of someone that she had to do with the death of. You know, like there's a huge thing standing in their way, which is crazy because he has to find out, right? Like he has to find out.
Look at he told
Is
me
there,
that
okay, I
smile,
know
look
we
at that
can't.
smile.
I keep thinking of like ways to ask you questions that you can say something
I
because I
know,
know
right?
you can't say a lot. I saw that this is from Twitter. I need to look up your handle, but thank you so much because it was a very clever way to ask this. Is Marco hiding any secrets? You don't have to say what. Just does he have secrets that we don't know about?
Yes.
Ooh, I love that. Love that.
Guys, I would love.
Now, what's the secret?
I would love if
know,
Marco
right?
I knew you could
turned
move.
evil. Like, I would love if he sent the person into the house before he showed up.
Okay.
Meg,
I would love that.
I love that.
would love it.
It's interesting.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh my gosh.
you can't trust anyone in Rosewood, honestly. Besides the main core characters, whenever they introduce somebody new, they always end up being somebody sketchy.
Oh, but what do you mean, except for the main characters? They're all liars.
That's true. They're all
And you're
sketchy.
saying except for them, everybody's sketchy?
You're right. They're all sketchy, but the new ones are always the villains. Like Dr. Rollins, who we loved and adored, ended up being like a crazy psychopath who tried to kill Allison.
Right.
And now I love that your character has secrets. That's a good place to be, right?
Oh yeah.
Everybody has
to find
secrets.
out the secrets. Yeah. But it's crazy to me to think that you went over and she was literally, if that flash drive hadn't been stolen by the mysterious person that came in the house beforehand, she literally would have told you all about the dollhouse.
Right.
I don't know
That's
about that.
Yeah,
I think she would
She
have.
was going.
I think, or
I don't
you're
know about
right.
that. I mean, because there's still a lot that she could tell him that she's chosen not to.
Right.
Because you have to remember, there's not a matter of just because we're linked up doesn't then mean that she's absolved of any crimes that she's then committed. I mean, you have to.
Right.
You have to remember what they've done. I mean, they've obstructed justice.
Right.
They've
And she
Yeah,
would
that's
be,
very
she
true.
would be
committed
admitting that.
manslaughter. That,
Totally.
You know.
Have you met Toby? I mean, not Toby.
Keegan?
Yeah,
You mean Keegan?
on set.
Oh yeah, no, he's one of my favorite people there.
Do you
He's
have
great.
like a small like cop rivalry at all?
You know what? I mean, I don't
Or a
think.
Spencer rivalry.
Honestly, I don't even think it's
Spencer
possible to have a rivalry with Keegan.
Okay, not even
He's just-
joking.
I mean, we don't even joke about it. I mean, honestly, he's just one of the nicest guys you're gonna meet. He's so talented, very welcoming, one of the most mild-mannered, gentlest people you're gonna meet.
I could see that.
Yeah.
Love it.
Who are you?
That was
closest
really
I
to?
love
politically
working
correct.
with him, and
It
it's
was
funny. I
really
mean, we're
politically correct.
but it's true. I mean, we're never really at odds or in
awesome. I
competition.
I picture
for
him as
real.
like this kind of, sort of surfer, laid back kind of
Like,
guy.
I picture that he likes wine and long walks on the beach.
Long walk on the beach.
And, like, I know him so
Which is weird
well.
because
He's
he
feisty.
likes beer and short walks, but yeah. Okay.
my kind of guy. My kind of guy.
Out of everybody on the cast, who are you the most close to? Like, who's like your homeboy or girl that you like eat lunch with and craft services with?
Well, I usually eat lunch by myself.
No.
It's a nice glass
doing?
of rosé and a nice meal there.
And then I take a long walk on the beach.
He's like
No,
in the corner at Warner Brothers. It's like,
Well, I mean, as you see, like a lot of my stuff is confined more to Spencer, you know,
Yeah.
Troian,
Okay.
and she was kind of my entree into everybody. But everybody's really easy to get along with. You know, even the crew and everybody. You know, like and all the producers, they're all really invested in their job. They enjoy what they're doing, and we kind of all hang out sometimes. But I have to say, when it really comes down to it, I got a real soft spot for Troian and Sasha.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Love it. Love it.
sweethearts.
Nick, I did want to, as we were talking about like on set and being behind the scenes, so if you guys don't know, PLL is usually filmed on the Warner Brothers set, but you were saying that one scene tonight was shot at Universal, and if you guys have ever come to California...
Oh, no, wait, I'm sorry, it was Warner.
It's Warner Brothers.
Oh,
that's okay, but they still have the tours. They still have the tours there anyways, but that was really cool, yeah. But if you go back and watch the scene with Hanna getting the phone from it really looks like they're in like a city.
Yeah, because it has like the elevated track, which is supposed to look like the L in Chicago.
So those buildings that you saw around where she was getting out of the dumpster are like not real at all. They're like facades. They're probably like made out of...
And every time you see like all the wood scenes, like where they're going through the woods.
Yeah.
What's that
That's
like?
all right there. And it's called The Jungle, and it's all right there on the Warner Brothers lot. Which is also where True Blood filmed.
How big is that?
And where Merlotz is back there.
Yeah.
How
That is
big
cool.
is like the woods? How big is that? Because I can't see.
55 square miles.
55
Miles?
I'm kidding, that's huge.
I'm like, I can't
like,
even.
what?
I don't even.
What if I didn't tell you? She'd
That
be
is
like,
a
okay.
She'd be like, oh, wow, 55
I mean,
No, I don't know,
is
but the lot is huge.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is.
But it's so funny because I feel like Noel Khan's cabin, all the motel scenes, I feel like they're all filmed in the same area. They just changed the outside of the building.
Well, you'd be surprised. I mean, a lot of them are also the same walls and everything, and a lot of them are on the actual set. They're not even in the woods and an actual freestanding place.
Okay.
But they put it on set, and they have like a big picture of the city, like or whatever the view's supposed to be. That's really expensive, and then they light it right so when you look, you see the view.
That's
the other show that Marlene King's doing, Famous in Love.
Yes.
There's more of that too, where there's these amazing beach scenes for these beach houses and gorgeous city views, and that's all there on set.
That's
doesn't
so
exist.
cool to me.
And that's
Have
really
you
exciting.
met Marlene?
Yeah, of course. She was there in my first
Table read.
meeting, my
And then-
audition.
Oh, right. She's at every... Okay. Oh,
Even the audition,
really?
because
So Marlene
Wow, I
sits
love
there and watches all the auditions, and then...
We sat there, and it was a chemistry session with Troian. Was my first meeting ever. And it was a really fun scene that was kind of a little more where we are now in the season. They've obviously been together, and they're questioning how they can stay together and still be like, cop and felon.
Murderer.
And so we have this great scene, and it just went so well, and Troian and I were just kind of, crushing in this room. And then at the end of it, the conclusion of the scene, Marlene sits forward and she goes, all right, I think we're finally going to have a smart cop who's going to solve some crimes in Rosewood. I didn't know that I'd gotten the part at that point, but,
You felt
it was a
pretty
nice
solid.
sign.
Yeah, it was a good
nice
idea.
sign.
Awesome. I love
that's really
that.
When did you find out that you got it? I always want to know this.
After the audition.
Like a call or...
Yeah, who was it your agent that let you know, or who?
Yeah,
was it?
they usually call, and you always know it's nice when your agent calls you and they're on the phone with your manager. The assistant will
means
call
it's
and he
good
goes, "I
news.
have Joel and Adam on for you," and you're like, "Okay." Either they're gonna let me down easy about something, or they're gonna tell me some really good news. So.
What did you do? Freak out? What?
I was really excited because for me, I didn't know about the show. I didn't realize I remember seeing the early promotions for the show, and then I've seen it ever since. But sometimes you don't know, is that show still on, or is it?
Yeah.
It's huge, and it's just. And one of my good friends was the wardrobe costume designer from the beginning, Mandy Line.
Oh, yeah.
From who really set a tone with the look of the show.
Yeah.
And so I definitely knew about it and knew it was this popular show, but I had no idea the depth of it.
Yeah,
And it wasn't
it's
even
insane.
until like my own family found out. My
Right.
11-year-old
You were-
niece is
yeah,
the
you
showed us
biggest, super fan of Pretty Little Liars, and
then-
she was flipping out.
I think Nick told us that like someone recognized you and they were staring at you weird, and you found out later on Twitter that they recognized you from the show and they were just too freaked out to say hi. Right?
Oh, that was today. That was
That's
today
today?
on the Warner Brothers lot. They were doing
Yeah.
the back tour, which
Yeah,
you said
yeah,
you used to
yeah,
work on.
yeah.
So they were like, in those little vehicles moving
yeah.
around the lot. And someone, they went by, and every time, you're walking, they're always coming by, and you're just like, all right.
You're like,
And, I noticed, a few people were kind of leaning forward. But, everyone's always trying to figure out who everybody is. And then, on Twitter afterwards, I got the message, and she's like, it was my
that.
birthday, and I got to see
that's
him, and how great that was. And so we were able to
I
write
love
back.
it. That's so cool. All right. Man, I'm just like, I just want to hear it all.
I know.
What? I'm like,
Where
what
were you
show are we
born?
talking
You
about?
guys need to come and visit.
Yeah,
It's
we'd
like-
love to.
It's a lot of fun.
We would love to. Let's move on to. Aria and Jason.
Okay, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Aria and Jason, they kind of explored a little bit. We saw a lot of flashbacks. So last week we saw them hooking up in the bed, and we actually thought that was going to happen in the episode.
Right.
We're all freaking out, but turns out it was just a flashback. And
Still
then,
really hot flashback.
Yeah, and then at the end of the episode, we find out that Ezra has not found Nicole, which I will say I'm really disappointed by because I've been saying that for like 17 episodes that bitch was still alive, but she's not.
But she is.
I really hope
yeah,
that
we
she
don't
is,
know,
because
yeah.
I still kind of want that drama. But now it almost seems like it'd be weird for them to be like, oh, just kidding, she really is alive, you know?
But we still don't know who called the cell phone.
Oh my
right.
God.
Yeah.
She's alive, man. They wouldn't set all that
Do you
up
think he's
not
gonna
to have
come
a love
home?
triangle.
What if he comes home and like reunites and they're like, oh, as like they're finally happy, and then Nicole shows up in
To F
Rosewood.
it up.
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
But guys, okay, I love Ezria, but I cannot deny the Aria Jason chemistry. I am on board, you guys. Maybe it's half because I wish I was there. I wish I was in place of Aria, but guys, I'm feeling
No,
it.
I get it. I'm all, Team Ezra for me, for sure, but... And it was more than just a bone. It was more than just a bone. He was like, I'm gonna make you some food. It was like...
My
really
charity's
cute.
gonna support you.
Yeah.
Support you.
Exactly.
He was like, look, this is the first time this village ever had water. You could be a part of that.
I
Like,
was
what
like,
girl could ever say
She's
no to that?
such a line. Come on. You know he's in Ethiopia, just kind of strip joints.
Yeah,
I don't
technically,
buy
you're
it.
not supposed to use your charity's money to like
You know,
fly
that
your
already made me
extended
wonder.
Yeah,
line.
so
family
true.
out
Such
and
a
friends.
line.
So what's the ship name for that? Is it Jaria?
Jaria, it's Jaria.
Yeah.
You know what?
Not Arason? That's not Aria's son?
It's a little
Arison?
too much. It's a little too much.
I like it. I like that one better. I like it better.
You know what? You guys know how I feel about Ezria till the day I die, obviously. I will say that Jesus Jason can get it because he is one hot mother effort.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know.
he
Have you
is
guys
so hot.
Have you guys met Ian?
Yes,
met
we
Ian,
have.
yes.
We have.
We have not met.
That's another one I actually meant to mention. He's another one of my favorites.
He's-
That's
Yeah,
a
he's
really
great.
good guy.
We interviewed
Welcoming.
him on Freeform, and he was
Oh, good.
wonderful.
He's the
Yeah,
nicest
he's
guy. I mean,
down to
that's him.
Yeah.
You
Very
know,
cool.
without
Yeah,
all
cool.
the shady Ezra stuff, but
Yeah.
you know when he's really doing it well, it's
Yeah.
like, it's
Yeah,
good,
no,
and they
it's
have
really funny.
amazing chemistry.
Yeah, it
And
was
every
like-
time we have the table reads,
Yeah.
we're all just like,
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
they're. Oh,
I was
so
like,
great.
oh, he hits on younger girls. Like, this
Love
is my
it,
chance.
love it. But what do you guys think
my
about
chance.
Aria getting the text from Ezra and kind of like starting to cry?
Oh,
what
I-
do you think the meaning is behind
That was
her
all the
crying?
feels,
That
you
was all the
guys.
feels.
I literally would have been that same person. I've been so relieved, like, oh my God.
Was she relieved though? Like
It was
I
probably
couldn't.
shock and relief, and she probably feels bad for him. It's probably like a whole mix of emotions. But at the same time, like, she was heartbroken when he walked away from her at the airport. Like,
But at the same
absolutely
time, I
heartbroken.
mean, she knows him. She knows what a kind person he is, and for him to go all the way down there and fly down for somebody he cared about, regardless if they're still in love, he loves her.
Right.
And for him to get all the way down there and then find out that she's not there, and possibly, which could mean she's dead,
Right.
that's huge. And I think that, you know, you can't help but love someone the way Aria does Ezra and not feel bad for him.
Yeah.
Regardless of what your own feelings are.
Especially since she was the one telling him to go. Like, she was
You know,
really
you want
trying.
that, you want to be open, but at the same time, it's hard to be, do the right
Absolutely.
thing.
Here's what's gonna happen. I'm just gonna lay it all right out.
Okay.
This is a theory.
Ezra will end up together,
Obviously.
but
Can you imagine if they weren't the end game? How everyone
they're
would go
going
nuts?
to be
They're
end
going-
game,
Oh, they're
gonna be
obviously.
endgame.
But who doesn't like a little drama
Yeah.
here and there? I don't think,
There's
even though the
so much more
engagement,
to come.
there's so much more to
Yeah.
come. Like I think there's
That's
sexual
what
tension
we
between. Oh, he knows a lot. He knows
And
a
I
lot.
still don't know, and it's still not resolved. And that's how far along we are.
I
We were
love
in
it.
for it.
I'm
Oh my God,
mad.
I'm so
like
excited.
legitimately mad at both of them, and I'll tell you why. First of all, mad at Ezra. Do you know why? It's like Bachelor and Bachelorette. You can't fall in love, in my opinion. In my opinion, you can't fall in love with two people. There's one person who you really love who's going to win out. And all those couples on The Bachelor who have stayed together,
I don't believe
they were
that.
always one-track mind because that's the person. And if you're not one-track mind, then you're probably not going to
I
stay
don't think
together
that
because
he's
you're not
not
zeroed in.
one-track mind.
I don't think he's one-track mind.
I do think he is.
But-
There's a
He
difference.
jumped on that freaking plane, boat,
okay,
whatever, to go.
regardless, that is someone who has been through hell. If Nicole was really kidnapped by the, what did I call them? The
Aborigines.
Aborigines.
people.
But I meant to say indigenous, but I accidentally said
Who
aborigines.
was she kidnapped by? Was she kidnapped by the FARC?
She was kidnapped. Wait, what?
She's in Colombia, right?
He knows.
That's
He
the people
actually
that are
knows.
kidnapping
Is like,
people in
is that what it
Colombia.
is?
Is that the indigenous people
We
of
don't
Colombia?
know.
We don't know.
Indigenous
We
people
don't
of
know.
Colombia aren't kidnapping
Aren't the FARC?
anybody. Please,
We were in
whoever's
history
watching, do not.
It's not the indigenous people. It's
Thank God
the
we're here.
revolutionaries.
Exactly, which
It
is
was the
called the FARC.
revolutionaries. The
Right,
FARC.
Revolutionaries. That's it. That's it.
Yes, I said Aborigines. I meant to say indigenous,
Which
but I
means
was wrong.
Australian
It's
people.
actually the
Australia, yes.
revolutionaries.
We here at
Right.
the Pretty Little Liars After Show would like to apologize to all indigenous people around the world.
Yes, and I'd like to apologize to everyone we've offended for the past 2.5 years.
Yeah, it's been a
I'm really
while. I'm sorry.
But so the revolutionaries kidnapped Nicole.
Yeah.
Revolutionaries.
Revolution.
Got it,
We'll
got
get
They
it.
kidnapped Nicole.
Got
So
it.
regardless, the girl has been through hell. So even if he is not in love with her, as someone who was a huge part of her life, I would 100% be like, babe, gotta go. But this
Yeah.
person has
I don't
been
know.
through
That's
everything.
different,
I
though.
need
That's
to be there.
Because I feel like what you're saying is he's going to do his due diligence, like,
Yes.
hey, you're alive, thank you so much. But he should have been honest with Aria from the start, like, hey, I'm into you, I only love you because I love you, and we're gonna get married, but I need to go do this. And she'd be like, yeah, I get it. I don't think he should be confused. Likewise, I don't think Aria should be so quick to bounce back with Lucas. Like, hello, she's there. I'll
Lucas?
cook you.
You meant
I'm sorry.
Jason.
Jason. And he's like right there cooking food, and she's totally down until she gets that text
That's
from Ezra. She's like, oh, never mind.
That's why I think she was crying.
Wipe
'cause
the
to me,
tears.
I thought, oh my gosh, I saw this text from Ezra and I started to doubt my relationship with him. Here I am sitting at Jason's house. He's cooking me food. What am I doing? That's why I thought that she was crying.
Yeah.
But here's
she
the
was
thing.
bummed she wasn't getting the D that night. That's
Probably. I would have been so bummed if I
Oh,
wasn't
now I
in
have
a
to
different place
be.
than her.
I have to
Yeah.
think about this. And
But guys, here's the thing. It's not like Ezra and Nicole were broken up. Literally, he came back because she was like,
They got into a fight.
oh, did they get into a fight? Okay.
They got into a fight and
So there
he
was no
left. But there
closure.
was no closure. You're right. They
Doesn't matter.
didn't
Your
officially
feelings
broke
should be
it up.
stronger. Like when you met your wife, did you stopped thinking about the other people in the mix probably because you were like, you are the one, right?
yeah, we both
Okay,
kind of had
that's
like
what should
singular vision.
happen.
Kelsey, you have
That's what
great
should happen.
hair.
Yeah,
Your hair is great. You're gorgeous, but all that hair, girl. Oh, I can't. It's so good. It's so good.
She's like-
She's over there basking in her hair
Nick's
down to
wife
her
is
ass
here, you
right now.
guys, and she's
behind the
gorgeous.
camera.
She's
She's
so
gorgeous.
very so beautiful.
She's my favorite.
That's so sweet.
Yeah.
But
It's Nick and
sometimes
Kelsey,
things
it's
aren't
Nelsie.
that easy.
Or
So
Knick.
good.
Or kick.
Or Kick.
That's cute.
Team kick all the way.
Cute.
I don't know. I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. I still feel like it's a normal reaction for someone to find out that somebody who used to be very close to them is in a lot of danger and trouble. That would be a normal thing for a nice person to do, would be to go to Colombia. And Aria, being a good girlfriend, should have been like, go. I think that shows how strong their relationship really is.
But don't you think she'd be like,
relationship.
maybe you should let the authorities handle this, Ezra? Maybe it's not a good idea for you to go to Colombia and get kidnapped
I
as
think
well.
I would do that because I'm
Yeah.
crazy, but I think that she was trying very hard to be a good, supportive girlfriend.
Or was she testing him? I think a lot of people know what the right thing is and they say do it hoping they're not going to.
Right.
That's
But
true.
either way, she
true.
failed her test, even though
Yeah,
she
she
wasn't
did.
being tested.
She
because
did.
She was definitely feeling something.
Yep.
Oh, this hurts.
How's that sugar? Is that enough sugar in your coffee?
a lot.
Guys, okay, wait. We have, I can't. As I'm sitting here, I'm like, oh my God, we got to theorize about Hanna and Noel. Let's get into that because that's gonna take a while. Can we do that?
Okay, so Hannah
Let's fucking-
went rogue. Nick's like, she's gone rogue. She went rogue. She went to go track down Noel Khan. She was gonna drug him. She was gonna.
But Noel's too smart for that. She's
Obviously,
smart for
because
it.
that was so
Believe
stupid.
that.
She was like, drink the fucking beer.
Yeah.
Like, it's
Yeah,
so
yeah.
obvious.
I honestly thought she was doing the whole thing where she was acting like she was drinking his and he was like, I'll take that one,
Yeah.
but it was really the one.
Right,
That would've
And I
been
gave her
smart.
way too much credit.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
would have been a great
Why
idea.
couldn't she have just taken a sip? Like, couldn't she have
She
just
would've
taken a
lucked out.
sip?
Why couldn't she hide the phone better? Why
You
isn't
would
she
think,
yelling
like,
anything?
that's
A
enough that it
tiny
wouldn't
little
have
sip, you
knocked
might
her
be
out.
feeling a little warm or a little woozy,
You
but
might
you
be feeling a
wouldn't.
little, you want to party,
Yeah,
you might
I'd be
want to dance a little bit, but you're not going to be able, you're
No.
right.
Also stupid that she brought the freaking phone
Yeah.
with her. Have the blackmail, probably not right across the table from
Here's a
Noel
picture of
Khan.
the phone that I have.
Yeah,
Nobody
right?
saw it. Yeah,
Genius
that's the
idea.
phone.
Obviously, you're a detective. Like,
Well,
I
right when it
understand.
happened, we were all going, take it. He's going to take the phone.
Yeah,
And that's
she's
exactly what happened.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, yeah, give me that.
Yeah,
She
seriously.
didn't even
Babe.
yell or anything. She's just like silently being attacked in this coffee shop.
I
It's
mean,
like,
you guys are like,
dude.
yell something.
Yeah.
There's people around.
Right. Like, she didn't say anything.
I'm being mugged.
But honestly, like Hannah, I'm a little disappointed in that entire scene because I love Hannah and I know that she is smart, but
I just feel like she just didn't plan it out.
Whatever. He got what he's coming to because the bitch hit him across the head at the end of the episode.
She did.
So that's fine. He is knocked out.
Yeah.
He's fine. She's got it. She planted her hat, which apparently was bait. her
was a cute
baseball
hat,
cap was
too.
What did the P stand for?
Maybe Pennsylvania?
Probably.
I don't know.
Who lives there?
Pittsburgh?
They do.
For the show.
They live there. They live
Rosewood's in
You know,
Pennsylvania.
on that subject though, like that was one of the things that I didn't realize when I first saw the show, and I was like, and I went to the table read, and I remember I was talking to Marlene, I was like, hey, so I was watching like the beginning with my wife, and he's, you know, she's underage, right? And you know, they sleep together, and like, well, technically it's Pennsylvania, and the consent is, the age of consent is 16.
Oh, I love that.
I wonder
you
if
guys are
that's
okay with that
I wonder
then.
if
So
that's
that
why
made
they
it all right?
initially
Yeah.
made it in Pennsylvania. Was
It
just
is.
for that reason? Just for that reason?
I don't know, but it
And
sounds
now
like
it's
a
just
good one.
carried on
Yeah,
down.
that would make
is-
sense.
Crazy.
Weird.
That
I kind
is
of was
really
trying to get my
intense.
head around it because the whole time, like, you know, I'm open, I'm watching this, but I was like,
That
it was a
is
hard
so
thing to get
interesting.
your
Yeah.
head around.
Yeah.
so
And like, oh, it's
interesting.
Pennsylvania. Oh, okay, no problem.
Oh, no
big
big
deal.
deal. That's how they do in Pennsylvania, you know.
Rosewood, PA. Yeah, you guys,
but
Pennsylvania. Did you
I've
just
been
get
there.
here?
I've been
I
to
wasn't at
Rosewood.
the table read. He didn't know.
Talking about you, that you didn't know all this time.
You didn't know, girl.
He's been here
By the way,
forever.
hold on, where did you think it was?
Yeah, where do
Like
you
a
think?
fictional place?
Honestly, you guys, wait, it's a true story.
Oh God, here we
There's
go.
this
Yeah, here it is.
street
Here we go.
in Los Angeles that I
Yeah,
drive on to
Rosewood.
get here every day.
Yes.
It's called Rosewood. So
I
I
live
thought it was
near
just
there.
like
Yeah,
a
it's in
name
Hollywood.
that people threw out in the mix.
And that building behind it says Ravenswood on it too.
What
Yeah.
building?
Yeah, there's like a
Which was
building.
spin-off, though.
Yes.
Right, right. So we get it. But
Wait, what building behind what? The street?
there's like a building and it says
It's a long
Ravenswood.
street.
Oh my gosh.
don't know. Anyways.
All right, guys. Before we cut to break, we have to really quickly talk about Noel Khan. So Noel Khan's dad had signed the papers that basically
Oh, the
was
judge.
the adoption
Yeah.
papers,
Oh,
which is
crazy.
leading everyone to speculate that Noel's dad adopted the baby, which means that Noel is the
would be
second child.
Right.
Stephanie actually said it first. Yes, she said it
She
first.
did.
Okay, girl. Got
Before
I think
this
that is so smart. It's crazy to think that he could be the second child. I don't want to believe it, but I would be satisfied with that. Would
makes
we all be
sense.
satisfied if Noel was
Yeah,
the second
it makes
child?
sense.
Yeah, go.
Okay,
Oh, that makes sense.
I would be satisfied, but you guys, I'm not giving up on something shady going on with Spencer.
There is absolutely
and guys,
something happening
I'm
with
gonna
Spencer.
like blow your mind for a second. Okay, I've been brewing this. It's not the same sweater, but remember last week when she was looking through the pictures and she had this like Argyle sweater on. And I was like, what is this? What is the significance with this sweater? She looked different. Not the same sweater, but she is wearing an Argyle sweater in the pilot episode where we thought she killed Allison. Guys, I think she did kill Bethany. I'm gonna go there. I think that storyline is gonna come back up, and I think we're gonna find out that Spencer, something happened with her that night.
Knowingly or unknowingly?
I think, I
Like
don't know.
on purpose
How does,
or
the Argyle
got that
whoopsie
far.
sweater,
daisy?
how does the Argyle sweater
I mean, with
and her
intent?
Yeah,
look
Detective Marco.
have
Yeah.
anything to do with that?
Premeditated.
Maybe she just likes Argyle.
I just think
No,
that the
there
Argyle
was
sweater's
something-
very Spencer, and since that's the pilot episode, I think they wanted to establish her style. But in PLL, there's always connection.
Yeah, it's
so
true.
It
No,
could, it
guys,
could just not
I
She
don't know.
started
Some
off
other
very
people on
different,
Twitter were like speculating about it too. You know
Why
what I'm talking
Bethany,
about?
though? That's so random.
Bethany?
What
'Cause
does Bethany have to do with that episode we were watching?
No, I was just throwing out that theory before we forgot.
Oh, I
I'm
see.
sorry, do we know who Bethany is the kid of again? Do we know or we don't?
That's what I mean. That storyline was never really
It was
closed.
never really resolved.
It will be.
Yeah.
closed.
Oh, I'm sorry. Wait, no. The reason why I brought that up, I can't even take credit for that theory. Melinda Hale, that used to do the Vampire Diaries after show with me.
Melinda!
She had her birthday this weekend, and we were talking PLL because that's what you do in a bar apparently when you're turning 30. And that was her theory that Spencer killed Bethany. But
And now Spencer also was looking through the photo album and she saw the picture of the baby in the photo album wrapped in a blue blanket.
and it was a blonde girl. That's where that came from too. It was
yeah,
a blonde girl.
and Dr. Cochran had said earlier that day that Mary Drake's child was taken so fast away. He thought it was a boy because the baby was wrapped in a blue blanket. What was interesting was that Spencer had seen a picture of who we think is herself in the photo album wrapped in a blue blanket, which made me think that Spencer was the second child.
Right.
Right.
Yes.
That's the other theory.
Now,
What would that mean?
what would it mean? That she was actually Mary Drake's kid. So her mom isn't her real mom and that her dad hooked up with Mary Drake, which is very possible because her dad also hooked up with Mrs. DiLaurentis, which is why Spencer and Jason had the same
have
father.
siblings.
Did her dad ever hook up with Allie? What was that whole thing? There was some weird thing going on with them early
That
on.
was Byron. That was Aria's dad. Aria's dad and Allie had like a weird.
We never.
No, but that never actually. You're right. That never got closure because Allie had like dirt on Aria's dad because Aria's dad was cheating on Aria's mom. There was something creepy. You're so right.
There was creepiness.
That was never touched on again, but you're 100% right because I honestly.
It was touched on.
All right, you guys. Seriously, let's take a break. We can gather all of our thoughts. We'll take some questions. If you guys have any questions for Nick, tweet it using hashtag PLLAS or any other questions about tonight's episode, and we'll be right back after the break.
In case you missed it live. In case you missed it live. In case you missed it live.
Oh my God.
High five.
They did what to me?
We had a crazy vampire threesome.
And you can't unsee that. That's burned into my brain now. I was like,
You know why we saying yes. You know why we saying yes. Look at me, I'm dancing.
He was like, yeah, I'll tell you whatever you want.
He is quite something.
And we're like, inseparable.
These hoes ain't look.
You just went to a totally different direction on that one.
I love it. That's genius.
We're funny.
billionaire goes broke, it means he's got like $4 million. There's got to be a code on that.
This might actually be a thing.
Somebody better take some pictures.
What did I do? What is there?
Are we there yet? Can we talk about this?
We've been waiting all night. I don't know. I don't like to break nails.
You can't count anything out.
It's been another awesome night at the Stream.tv, guys.
Awesome.
Thank you for joining us, you guys.
Hello. All right, we're back with Nick Gonzalez, who apparently was on a TV show called Undressed that Forever Johnny Boy will kill me if I don't tell you that he has been a huge fan of you since your Undressed days. So can you please tell us about Undressed on MTV?
Yeah.
What was that about? Why is everyone talking
first
about
of all,
that?
big shout out to Johnny Boy.
Yeah.
What's his full handle?
At Forever
Forever
Johnny Boy.
Johnny Boy. Thank you so much for the support and watching all these years. He's referring to MTV series called Undressed, which I don't know how long it really lasted, but the funny thing was everybody kind of went through it. If you look on imdb.com and like look it up and see all the actors who went through there. It was Roland Joffe, who some people might know from The Killing Fields. It was a really famous film years ago. I think it was even nominated for a lot of awards. He was a big producer for that, and then he had this show on MTV, which suddenly I was like, wow, Roland Joffe, you know, I grew up on that movie. This is gonna be really big. What's he doing with MTV? And it ended up being like a soap opera that he was involved. But it dealt with a lot of issues that a lot of people weren't dealing with at the time. We're talking about 1999, and they were dealing with homosexuality. They were talking about pansexuality. They were talking about so many different diverse subjects that were kind of affecting people at the time, and taboo subjects that people weren't talking about, and kids wanting to know about whether it was sex and safe sex and all the things having to do with that, and pregnancy and, you know, abortion. And they dealt with all these like hot topic issues. And it was, honestly, everybody who came through Hollywood in that period and was here probably did a spot on that show. And I played a character named Andy, and he was gay, and the first episode opens up on him finding straight porn underneath his bed that his boyfriend must have put there, and he was wondering what was going on there. And we went on to be 6 of the most requested episodes.
Oh, that's awesome.
Wow. And I was working with another actor named Eyal Podell, who fans would know from so many different shows. A big actor, he's done a lot of things. But he was my boyfriend at the time, and since then we like see each other at auditions all the time. You know, I see him and his kids and wife. You know, it's funny in this Hollywood life, like where you start and where you end up.
That's awesome.
I have a lot of great memories about that show. You know, one thing I will tell you is that on a serious note, with that show, I got a lot of fan mail, and that was like some of the first time. One that I will always remember. that it doesn't really matter what, like, you can think that you're on a show that, like, oh, people don't care about this, or, oh, this is some very soap opera type show, and whatever, it's, you know, I'm just getting a paycheck. But when you really think about it, people are really moved by the work you do. And I got a particular letter that I will never forget, and the kid had told me, he said, you know, thank you for playing this part. You know, you gave a lot of dignity and respect to a character, and I don't really see gay characters played that way. You got to remember, again, this is 1999. And he said, I really hated myself a lot, and it wasn't until I saw that I learned to love myself and realize that there was nothing wrong with me. And yeah,
That's
I mean,
awesome.
I still think about it. I get a little choked up because it was really cool. And for me, this was a guy who loved somebody and you know, was genuinely worried about the relationship, and that's why I treated it. It wasn't like, you know, let's get a bunch of straight guys together to play gay characters and lampoon it. You know, this is a serious subject, and really very proud to have been a part of the show.
That's very cool. I love it. Oh my gosh, I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, I remember that show, but I wasn't allowed to watch it because it came on too late
you were
at night,
2
and there
years
was like scandalous stuff going on. Like people were always in their underwears and their bras, like, oh, scandalous. But now
Yeah, I spent probably about, I think, at least 2 episodes, and we were both just in, like, you know, Calvin Klein boxer
now I can
briefs.
watch that.
That's amazing.
I'll check it out.
Awesome.
That's so cool. Guys, before we move on, I want to say I'm looking at Twitter. It's not going unnoticed. I totally forgot that Mona admitted to killing Bethany, guys. I'm sorry. I think I went past it in my head because I didn't like the storyline, and I changed it in my head.
all of Twitter just tweeted
I'm so sorry, guys. Don't hate me.
It's fine. It's fine. We do that every single week.
I have to tell Melinda that her theory is off, and she's gonna hate me for it. I'm gonna have to ruin her freaking birthday. Thanks, guys.
All right, let's take some of your questions and comments. Okay, at Hayes, it's M says, hey, love, hey, love, hey, love, hey, love. All right, the preview for next week. We see a lot of hey, love. We see a lot of Spoby.
And by that we mean we see a lot of them too. Like,
you guys,
they're naked.
Hannah and Caleb are making out under a bearskin rug. I don't know if it's a bearskin rug. I just hope
seemed
it
like
is.
there's a fireplace or something.
Yeah, well, I mean, either way, they're making out near bearskin, and that's all right with me. Also, Spencer and Toby randomly are kissing this episode. How does that make you feel?
But you said you were in the episode too.
Huh.
Do you?
So therefore, there's a little triangle, right?
Well, we're not all kissing, that's for sure. I'll tell you that part.
Damn. That's all right.
What can you tell? Can you tell us anything?
I'll tell you, I'm not worried.
All right.
Okay, confident.
Detective
Because you're not worried, that makes the rest of us all very worried.
Right?
We're like, oh my God, what does that mean? So we know that Ezra's coming back. We know that Caleb are going to hook up near the bearskin rug.
And since we saw Hale, by the way, making out, that means, like, what happened to Noel Khan? Like, you just hit him on the head and you're making out now? Like, I'm wondering what's happening
And
between
that
point A
never
and point
happens
B.
on this show.
I know, right?
Right.
He's in the closet next to them.
All right,
Who's in the closet?
Imagine.
That's in the closet?
Got it.
Imagine. At Corbin John says, I find it funny that Maya's name is mentioned so close to the season finale for the first time since the dollhouse. Very, very interesting that the stamp on Noel Khan's box that hid the flash drive was the same stamp that Maya had that was supposedly like some weird thing to get into
Noel's
the Khan's parties. But yeah, it is really interesting. Maya seems like a forgotten memory of the past, so when you hear her name, it's like, wait, what?
Yeah, that was like I really love that they brought that back. And I still can't wrap my mind around the fact that like Noel knew about the dollhouse. Noel was in the dollhouse. Noel put fake blood on Spencer and made her seem like
he was
she was
totally
crazy.
working with Charlotte, which makes it even more plausible that he is Mary Drake's second child.
Right.
Or he was also being tortured by Charlotte.
No, I mean, I don't think so.
Like Charlotte
I think
was using
she
him.
always needed a helper. She always did, and we always knew that there had to be someone else, and it would make perfect sense. Although now that they're trying to tell us that, and you know how they were kind of weird and vague about the sex of the baby, it makes me think that it's going to be a girl, and we're all wrong about Noel Khan.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, wouldn't it be
Spencer.
such an interesting twist if the only reason that Noel was in the dollhouse was because that Charlotte was also had dirt on him? Like, and he was actually on the other side of it. We all think that he's evil, but what if Charlotte was also torturing him?
But then why would he kill Sarah?
What if he was the one who killed Charlotte? What if Noel killed Charlotte because he finally got revenge?
And I believe that because Noel for years was helping Allison. So like
right.
Who's Noel, whose team are you on? Damn it!
What if he is on the opposite side? What if he is the one that killed Charlotte, and that's why he's acting all crazy?
I love that so much.
He's acting all crazy because there's somebody else, Mary Drake's second child, that's not actually Noel, that wants to figure out who killed Charlotte, and Noel knows it's him.
Yes.
Then it wouldn't be Spencer, because that wouldn't make any sense.
It's so crazy just to sit here and
Right?
know everything. And watch you guys squirm. It's so nuts.
Oh,
Give me a clue.
That is rude.
Right?
That is so rude, Nick.
I don't know, is it?
You totally know stuff, but now that I
Of
think
course
about
I
it,
do.
If
I'm
you're
like,
everything.
I'm like
just got
6
back
episodes
from
ahead of you guys right now.
Oh my god.
6 episodes.
Which means that you already know what happens next week. Oh my God, I can't
Oh,
remember.
that one I
Are
don't
we
know.
gonna be like, are we gonna be led next week on like a huge cliffhanger? I mean, obviously, but like, are we gonna have a moment where we go,
Just tell us what happens.
It's a really good episode.
oh,
No, I will say that it's a really good episode, and everything you thought you know, and all the feels you thought you were feeling, you're gonna feel the opposite, and then you're gonna like feeling those too. It's weird.
All right.
It's
Oh my God,
really
that's
a
so
roller coaster.
exciting. That's so exciting.
that just was a good synopsis.
Well, you have to come back next year then, okay?
Yeah.
And then we can
I'll come
all
back next year.
talk about this again. It's gonna be great. All right. At Little Box Reader says, why was Jenna pointing the gun and not Noel? Can she see again?
I'm so confused.
I hope she
She
can
said
see if
something
she
like, you
pulls-
guys are gonna be me, or like, you guys are gonna be like me. Come on, Parrot,
Yeah.
get it together.
Yeah.
Come on, Parrot, get it together. You quote it. You
Yeah,
quote it.
she said you guys are gonna know what it feels like to be me, but she also was
By
like,
shooting them in the eyeballs?
She's only seen this once, and we were all talking.
She knows. She's like, she could repeat the entire episode. Like she knows every single
I'm trying to
line.
wonder that she knows probably more than
Yeah,
all of
she
us.
reads
put
the
together
script
right
down.
now.
We get
You guys, I
Yeah.
say this every time, and you watch since the beginning too, and I know she did too, but it all kind of strangely started with Jenna getting blinded by the liars. It's the only thing that still makes sense
You're
to me.
saying blinded by the light, and I was like,
I know.
But that would be
We don't own that one, are we not?
they probably don't know it. We know it.
The video's just been redacted from YouTube now.
It's okay. It's okay. Oh, I know.
That would make sense though,
afford
because
that
that would make some motive that started in the very beginning. The only thing that wouldn't make sense about that is the family connection, because Kimberly McCullough was here last week, and she told us to hang on to that line about how it all comes down to family.
Right.
yeah.
So
You
I
guys,
just
now
don't
that
know.
you guys just reminded me, so I was reading some sides for a breakdown. I was going through auditions, and one of them was for Pretty Little Liars, and I got some serious spoilers.
Oh, no. I don't even know if you should say this.
I won't say it on the air. It completely slipped my mind, but there was
why
an
didn't
audition.
you group text us then?
There was,
Yeah, how
I
could
was
you
literally
not?
in the middle of everything. I was like with my manager, and like she was giving me all these sides, and I was like, But one of them, and it was like
I'm like
new
having
characters.
serious. Like I'm like mad at
I'm
you
like
right
doubting
now.
our friendship.
Sorry.
Like I'm actually like putting it on hold.
I was thinking in my head,
Questioning
like, I was like, whoa, but yeah, I just remembered that. I'll tell you guys about it.
Yeah, we need to
All right.
know.
Also, really quick, before we forget, Emerson, we see a little bit in the trailer as well, but also now it seems like Emily is kind of going back towards Paige. Hello, because Sabrina is like finally like getting the hint and she's leaving. I also think it's hilarious that she showed up to Emily's apartment like all ready to go out to eat, and she's like, "Oh hey, I thought I would drop by and like grab a bite." And Emily's like, "Oh no, sorry, like you can't sit with us, like bye." I want her to go. I want her away.
But wait, and now why did Noel need a cake?
An 8-inch.
And why did Noel Khan 8 inches?
Go back.
Cake.
Of red velvet cake
8-inch.
with cream cheese
Ashley was like,
frosting.
"Noel Khan 8 inches? What?" And
Hold
we're
on,
like,
it was
"It's
red
a
velvet
cake."
cake?
I think it was red velvet.
Because
Red
that's
velvet
what's her name brought Emily.
Right,
It was red
exactly.
velvet
It was
cake.
red velvet. Totally.
Oh, because she's making it. She's making
No,
the
but you're sorry. I did make that connection. It was a red velvet cake, and then she brought her red velvet cupcakes.
Something's a little odd.
That is
And also, sorry to toot my own horn, but I called that Paige was weird and clingy. Did I
you're
not?
right.
And I think it
That
was
was a
finally.
really hard one to call.
Yeah.
It was hard for some people.
It was hard
for
because
some people.
I am Team Haley, but tonight was like a little bit much, guys. Like that's going from Pisces to Psycho.
Yeah,
right there
she
in 5
knew
seconds.
straight up. She knew because she spied in the window and she knew that Sabrina and Emily were dating. And she still said to Emily, "So you want to go out? Oh, you're dating Sabrina? Really? I had no idea." Like, You're sketchy. Now you're sketchy.
Very
Welcome to the
interesting.
sketchy crew.
is sketchy.
PLL.
At PLLAS fan page says, do you guys think that Mary killed Mrs. D? So we haven't seen Mary at all in this episode. It would make a lot of sense if Mary had something to do with killing Mrs. DiLaurentis, but Jason made a good point tonight. He said he thinks that the other child is the one who is the reason why his mom is dead. I don't know what made him exactly lead to that conclusion, but it would be really interesting if Mary Drake's second child is the reason that Mrs. D is dead.
Right.
Don't you think that would be a good twist?
They might have explained that on
and a
the show
good
when
way
we missed it.
to actually close off that chapter. Like, finally we know why Mrs. D is dead would be because her cousin, who she adopted and took away from the mom and is like crazy, killed her.
I'd kind of love if Mary Drake did it, though.
I would too. That
like
bitch
it's
is
like
nuts.
scandalous.
She is psycho. All right, before we get going, let's give a couple shout outs. On Instagram, I had Isabella.DeBoer. She doesn't have a Twitter, but she watches every single week. And then I have at world_PLLAS, Michaela Verbert. Thank you for sending me the pronunciation of your name because you knew I was going to mess it up. At Fina Juliana, at Webster Corey, Towns of Rosewood, Brooke Dean 09. Yes, you can have a shout out. I was going to say the stream.tv. At PLLAS_99, at Haleb_Shipper22, at Endgame TV shows, at Curious PLL. I can't read your handle.
I want to say
Go ahead.
at Miss Kate_XO. Did you say that one? She watches from Ireland, and it's 3:30
Love that. Those are
a.m.
my favorite
right
shout
now.
Oh, to Celine.
I love it. That warms my heart.
Dedicated.
Yes, at Jersey Rampage, at Hayes_Cupcake, at Ray Debbie, and at Justin Hugh Me. Justin Hug Me Now.
This person
Can I give a shout out?
Yes.
JMO210.
JMO210
JMO210 has been a really great supportive fan from the beginning.
Love that.
And he's always like rooting us on. He said, please give a shout out to I'm Nick Gonzalez from me to PLLAS.
I
So I'm
love
giving you
it.
one right back, Johnny.
Very cool.
JMO210.
Wait, is that our boy? That's our boo thing. Boo thing.
Is that him, John?
Yes, that's him.
Oh,
He
yeah.
treats us every single day. He's like,
He's always the nicest, right?
Yes, he's our boo thing. He's
shout
our
out,
boo
man.
thing.
He's like, hey, boo, thanks. We
Yeah,
love you.
yeah.
So good.
I have some
Even our producer was like, JMO said, you gotta give a shout out to my boo things. I love him.
We love you.
We love you.
I have some foreign ones, which I love because it's really late and you guys still stay up and you watch us. And some, since the very beginning, stay up till like 5:30 a.m. So here we go. French, Rafa, with a lot of F's,
Yes.
1986. And then I've got Mandy, Crazy Mandy. We shout you out to. Hey, it's Cupcake. We shout you out. Sorry.
Hey, it's Cupcake.
Someone
It's
take
her
over
18th
while
birthday.
You guys, I
Happy
remember,
birthday!
I remember I know you guys.
Did you get a
or something.
cupcake?
He tweeted us all constantly. I know you guys or something was his handle. And I feel bad 'cause it's on my freaking phone. But I remember he messaged all of us and said, please give me a shout out. I know you guys.
DM? Did it go down the
Going
DM?
down in the DM.
Vuk and Morgan. Sorry, filling some time.
Morgan.
Also, Liloza watches from England every single week as well and has been watching for a while. And Brianna Seltzer, it's also her birthday, so happy birthday to you.
Haleb's Kisses, like your handle. Ani Rude 1. Love you. Oh, I love this. Avery,
just, like, on our-
Avery
I know,
Cat
we're all just looking at it.
116.
We always like want to give as many
I
shout outs as
know.
possible.
Guys, I feel so bad. I forgot that Mona killed Bethany. I feel like
Oh
I
my
shunned
gosh,
you guys.
Meg.
No,
Well,
I'm
you
like
know
beating
what?
myself up right now.
You should
You
know
know, it was
that
caught.
because
It
we're
was
all
caught.
mad at you.
It was like,
We've all
2
been
minutes
there.
we'll never have back again, but it was caught.
like I know how much you guys probably hate me on the internet right now, being like, how did she forget that? But I just like it happened during an episode where so much happened, and it's just like
There's been 7 years
so
of
much
regular
happening
lives.
all the time.
You guys, literally the show premiered in 2010.
down.
It's 2016. We forgive you. All right, you guys. Big, giant, enormous, like for real, thank you to Nick Gonzalez for joining us
Thank you for
tonight.
having me, guys.
So fun.
This
Anytime.
was so fun. We have to have you back when season 7B starts so that we could talk about the finale and like
Love to.
where, because you have a lot of confidence and like that makes all the Spobie worshippers really nervous. So that means you have to come back and like dish about it with us. But you guys, thank you so much for tuning in. We have one more freaking episode. The finale of the first part of season 7 is next week. So please tweet us. Let us know what you guys want us to do for the finale because we're just gonna do it all. Can we say that?
Yeah, we're gonna do it
You
all.
want us to dress up?
I was
We'll
gonna
dress
say, I was
up.
like, should we dress up?
We can do
to eat pizza?
You do Pretty Little Liars cosplay?
Yeah, we'll do whatever you guys want, just tweet us. Let us know using the hashtag PLLAS. Thank you to everyone who tunes in every single week. And also think about some stuff that you want us to do during the break of Pretty Little Liars. We can come back and do random theory specials. Whatever you want, just start sending them in. And we'll see you guys next week for the finale. Thank you, Nick. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you guys next week.
We do this thing. We do this thing.
We gotta do.
What do we do?
We go.
So we count it down, and then you go like this.
We go.
Okay.
Like a PLL.
Like you've
face.
just seen a dead body.
No, we're not doing it with you. I
We'll all
can
do
count down. Ready?
Okay.
3, 2, 1.